Welcome back to the vlog and welcome back to Papua New Guinea. We're out here in Sino today, heading up just on a 6-minute flight over to Siawi, hopefully, and I'll get into that in a minute. But anyways, my name is Ryan. Let's get ahead and get started because it's like 102 degrees in here already. All right, once the ITT drops down below 200, I just shut off. Then we introduce our fuel. Because the engine's already warm, it's going to come up quite a bit quicker today. Alright, fuel pump back to standby, generator, our V2, our prop forward, alternator, and auxiliary bus. But anyways, yeah, I'm just heading over 6 minutes over to Siawi to pick up some medical patients that are, I guess, sick, just going out to the house sick, or the hospital, whatever you want to call it. But last time I was in there, they had not cut the trees on the approach like I asked them to, and I told them, hey, if they're not cut next time, I'm not landing. So, and we weren't able to get a hold of them today to verify it or not, so I'll fly over it and we will see. Right, we're 5,500 pounds, so rotate's going to be 55 and 64 if I had to come back in, or which I'll be landing right over there. Open the strip chart for there because it's just so close. It's going to be 1,260. Let's say 1,300 feet for our pattern altitude. All right, fuel caps and selectors are good. Oh, Madang now. Madang 65908, November Tango Echo Taxi. November Tango Echo Taxi, Sino, Siawi, 1 POB. Right. Controls are good. Turn TAWs off. Switches and instruments we've already done. 1,300 feet per pattern altitude here in a minute. Switches and instruments are good. Flaps are going. Let's do our trim. And abort. All right, we're going to be a really hard one because there's no cones. There's nothing. There's some trees out there that kind of come out a little bit further. You're not going to be able to see them on the camera. But anyways, I'm going to be 35 knots at that point. Otherwise, full reverse, heavy braking. Up, pull off, and shut off if we're going off. We'll just continue on straight ahead, and then off to the left, soon I'll go into the lake at the end of the runway. Up takeoff, we're going to pitch for 85, left-hand turn, lower terrain, towards the river. Consider PL, consider feather, otherwise cut off, pull off, shut off. Emergencies, masters, crack my door, and 80 full flaps. All right, 20 degrees, everything is verified. Turn aboard. Ignition, lights, we are bypassed already, we already did our trim. 35 degrees out, Celsius, for sea level, 1520, so 1470. Ignition condition, plus 20 fuel and harnesses. Close complete. Right, 1470, rotate 55. All right, torque is set. All right, there's our 35 and continuing. There's 55 and airborne. Pitch over a tiny bit, get my speed up a little bit, and then climb on out really quick. All right, 500, now let's make our right-hand turn. It's only 9 miles away, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pitch over, start reducing my power, start getting my flaps out. Over 85, we go 10 degrees of flaps. Over 90, we'll go 0, bring our prop back down to 2,000 RPM. And also just bring our torque on back, just so our fuel flow is 320 or below. Because we're under 5,000, we're going to be limiting ourselves with a fuel flow of 320. There's no point in just wasting a bunch of extra gas and miling along at breakneck speed.
500.
Right, so we're just going up to 1,300.
500.
We've got 2 ridges out there. It's the further one out, basically straight ahead of me. It's right at the base of that, just 7 miles out. All stations, Siawi, Kodiak November Tango Echo, 7 miles to the east, 1,000. Will be circuit time 12. Alright, even though we did just take off, selectors and brakes, our TAWS is the same, our VREF we've already set up as 64, lights and others are the same. We're just going to fly over the field, buzz the airstrip the same way we would be landing. The winds are actually coming from this way. I'm going to buzz it, see what they've done, and see. I still don't want to land the opposite way because I still have to take off that way and the trees are in the approach. Should also be the departure end. We'll do that here in a minute. Prop and harness we'll get here in a second. We'll just leave my harness done. And we will do our SAR call. Once we get into the circuit, there's no point making a 1,000,001 calls because one more mile I'll be considered in the circuit. Alright, we can land on runway 17, which is the way that we normally do. Otherwise on runway 35, 531 meters, elevation 260. So hit our OBS, turn it to, what did I say? 17. Alright, 4 miles out. Heading 65908, November Tango Zulu. Correction, November Tango Echo, departed Sino time 06, now in the circuit, Siawi, report after landing. All stations, Siawi 126.7, November Tango Echo is in the circuit, Siawi. I keep wanting to say Zulu for some reason today. Right over where that smoke is, it's just on the other side of that. We can't see it, but that's why I put my OBS and actually put it on runway heading, so I have a big line across my screen.
500.
I'm 1.8 miles and I don't see anything regarding the airstrip at all. I'm gonna fly around overhead and then buzz the airstrip to see if they have cut down those trees that I requested them to cut down. Alright, I can't tell from here. It looks like they might have, but I can't tell. At least the ones right at the end of the airstrip. So let's just shoot an approach coming in, see how it feels. Last time I came awfully close to hitting my gear on the trees to be able to stay and get down where I wanted to, so. Because there's a lot of dead kind of stuff at the end of the runway, that makes me think that they actually did cut a bunch of stuff down. So, right, 10 degrees of flaps, prop forward. When harness done. We're not going to land on this time, we're just going to go around. Right, 20 degrees of flaps. Keep it at 20. And we will basically overfly the field at 80 knots. I'm at 0.9 miles and I don't even see the runway whatsoever, but I can fly on my heading and I know that I'm
500
well with it. Alright, there it is. Here it looks like they did cut some stuff down. Alright, I've got 6 knots crosswind, tailwind. Yes, it does look like they cut the trees down. Awesome. Good on you, people. Good on you. Okay, yep. Alright, let's go up and go back around and land. I've got 4 knots of tailwind. It did cut it, so I think I'm actually going to land the opposite way. So, because it's super flat, even though it's 530 meters, but it does feel really short the second you get on the ground. And sometimes you get like floaters there, so it's sometimes harder to down and stop quickly, so I think I'm going to land that way. Looking at the smoke, you can also tell the direction of the wind. It's really kind of just going straight up and a tiny bit this way, which should also show what the GPS was saying was just 6 knots crosswind. Because they did cut it, I'm going to go ahead and land. Alright, we said 1,300 feet was pattern altitude. Alright, if I do need to go around, it's just going to be straight ahead, power up 20 degrees of flaps. Straight ahead initially, and the maneuvers required, and then reset my torque up to 740. Alright, still at 20 degrees of flaps, everything else is done. We'll do SAR in a minute. We just did that. Flaps and SAR to go.
500.
Alright, turning final 900. 64, 74, and 84. 84 downwind. I go out to my GPS says 1.6. Now I'm going to turn my base. I'm a little bit close, so I'm probably going to be doing full flaps a little bit closer. Alright, now we're pitching for 74 knots. It's about 1,100. 200 feet to go, drop down. Alright, full flaps. Checklist complete. Right, I feel like I'm a little bit far up.
500.
Right, 64 knots. Right, got 5 knots on the nose, so this was a good decision coming in this way, at least from here. It's probably hitting that hill and coming right towards me. That's probably what it is. Alright, still trying to slow down to 64. This plane doesn't like flying that slow. I have them cut these bushes at this end down too. Yeah, I'm going to. Okay, we're continuing. Up's up. Come on, get down. It's nice and dry, that's good. I think I can have them cut those bushes down at that end of that runway too. They're like 8 feet tall, right at the end, right where you need to be going over the numbers, nice and low. Anyways, this is Seaui. Really hot, humid day out today. Still 98 degrees in here. Thanks for joining along on that short little jump over here. I'm heading all the way back to Wewak now, and then back onto Groka, and hopefully we'll be home by 4:45 or something like that, maybe. It's be a good day today, I think, for weather-wise, so not too worried about that. Anyways, if this is the kind of content you guys like watching, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button. It sure does help my channel grow. Feel free to share these videos wherever you want. Doesn't matter to me. Anyways, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and you guys have a good one. Alright, shut down. Gotta turn my upper hill fuel off. Just a tiny slight incline. Turn all my lights off. Aux bus, generator, alternator, and our V2. Idle, cut off, feather. And then I'm gonna wait until my aux fuel pump to turn it off. Waiting for my NG. I just learned this from a mechanic like 2 weeks ago that we should have been doing this. All of us pilots did. Anyways, have a good one, guys.